None of the ideas shown in these videos are patented. If you wish to use them, I have no legal way of stopping you. However, I do believe they would benefit me more than it would hurt me. Alright, so for the next entry in the series about fancy sci-fi concepts, the first 4 entries were about stuff that could be part of the sci-fi story. And what made all of them the same is that they were stuff I could do as a business, but don't really have the skill or money to. And part 5 will pretty much be the same, but with the major difference that this is not actually something that could be part of the sci-fi story, but actually a means to get more sci-fi stories. Because I have to think of something like the J.J. Abrams Alex Kurtzman Star Trek or the J.J. Abrams Star Wars. They all have these tie-in comics to have their story make sense, because their movies and TV shows obviously don't make sense, so they make comic books to make their stories make sense, which is stupid, but that's how it is. So the obvious solution is, let's start with J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009, and which is preceded by the Countdown comic. I've always been wondering why that hasn't just been for the general audience who doesn't read comic books made into a motion comic, which is like the most basic, most cheap way to create an audio-visual medium, a motion comic. And they do not do that. Like they did that with Watchmen. There's a Watchmen motion comic. There's lots of Marvel motion comics, mostly about Wolverine. Why not do that about something like Countdown, the prequel to Star Trek 2009? But if they don't want to do it, somebody who is really good at programming and really good at artificial intelligence, they could do it. Let's have an app. This is like the basic layout of the app. In the upper left quadrant, you enter a digital comic book in the comic book file format. An artificial intelligence in that app will read the whole comic book and removes the speech bubbles and save the text of the speech bubbles. It will just like use its artificial intelligence and learning to know how to remove the speech bubbles and read the text of the speech bubbles. And in a motion comic, you will have to have voices. So let's say this is a video file. So you have in this quadrant of your app that I don't have the skill for or the knowledge for, you enter your comic book. And for this example, the easiest thing for this example is this will be a Captain America comic. And here you want, as your voice of Captain America, you want Chris Evans. So you enter the movies of Chris Evans of Captain America here to get a sample of his voice. And in another field, you enter images of Chris Evans being Captain America, so the artificial intelligence in your app knows who to look for in the movies that you entered into the app as a database. So it will identify scenes in which the character, which you loaded up as a picture here, speaks and get his voice profile, basically like that. And of course, on the left, you have another one of those where you're on the left, the other left, you have images of how Captain America looks in the comic books. Like, that's the most basic version of the layout, and of course for each character. So you have your artificial intelligence recognize the speech pattern of Captain America in the movies that you added to the database and applies it to Captain America in the comic book file that the artificial intelligence already removed the speech bubbles and saved the text of the speech. And you could basically do that for every character. This is doable. I don't know why this hasn't been done yet. And so you get a file motion comic, yeah. So you get an output file in the app. That is here the motion comic with a time bar. You can watch it all, and at this point you can enter like your artificial intelligence should be able to do that. The initial output file will be emotionally neutral, like your Chris Evans voice that has been simulated by your app will just be blah blah blah, I'm talking the text that I get from the speech bubble, blah 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 blah, I have absolutely no inflections. So the last thing you will do in editing in your app will be entering inflections, like emotional inflections that your AI in this app would have saved as a preset. So you can get your Chris Evans voice to be like super excited, or really sad and depressed, or really inspired, doing like that Captain America speech where he inspires everyone to be just as patriotic as Captain America. And you do these emotional inflections and have your motion comic already running. You can do like some touch-ups and some last editing, like if the timing is wrong, if the pacing is wrong, you can do all the edits. But that's basically how an instant motion comic app would work. And if I had the programming skills, I would do it and make lots of money. I do not have the skills. Maybe somebody who watches this video has the skills and wants to make lots of money. I am not going to sue you for copyright infringement because I did not patent the idea, and I would just be really glad if somebody simply did it. That would be a big service for everybody who wants to watch more content. If you have the skills, do it. Genuinely, just do it. I think it's a good idea for an app, and it could work with our available technology. So why not just do it? Go ahead.